Sorry. Sorry. All right, so I asked Miranda to purposely leave off the center. This is unimodal, which I did see quite a few of you that had bimodal. Hopefully you accept my explanation. Yes, this is relatively high of a peak. It's not as high as this one. It does fall a little in between, but if I were to sketch a line to create the shape of this distribution, don't do this, just watch. I would not go like this. That would be a bimodal set of data. So we would have to have a huge dip where we have low stacks of the dots in between. For this, we would come up and it then just falls. We only have this one really high peak. Even though this looks like a peak, it's higher than the two in between it, it's still not high enough for us to say that it creates a dip in between and then another peak. It is skewed to the right, which means that we have possible outliers. Those outliers are going to be on the right-hand side or the high side. Our spread is approximately 19. As best we can tell, that's 19 down to 1. So maybe 18 for the spread. I mean, that could be 18. It looks like we could fit 4 in there. So she used a safety word. Now, for finding the center, we can see all the dots, all the pieces of data. So we're going to find that actual center dot, which means, yes, you have to count dots. It's not fun, but you have to do it. A lot of times, you'll see numbers at the top of stacks or bars that tell you how many pieces of data are in there. So here we have 4 dots, then we have 3. That's 4, 6, 8, 10. And hopefully you guys count along with me and double check. 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. That's 4, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's 5, 3, 7, 3, 3, 2, 4, 1, 1, 2, and 1. And then we're going to add all those numbers together. My eyes hurt after counting the dots. I'm starting to feel old. Hopefully you brought your graphing calculator. We are going to use it today. So go ahead and get it out, and let's start adding those numbers together so we can find the middle. How many of you do not have a graphing calculator with you today? Way up high so I can count. Oh, gosh, you guys kill me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I do not think I have 12. It's a good thing I teach math. They're all mine. I have personally bought all of these. They're all mine. What?
Is this school's money?
No. If I use the school's money, they have to go up into the library and then anybody can use them. These are personally mine so that I always have some for students. But I don't have 12 of them.
just borrow from Miss Becker. Miss Becker doesn't work here anymore. Oh, does she not?
No.
It's Mr. Halsted.
Yeah, how have you made it 2 weeks into school and not known that Ms. Becker is gone?
That's not my teacher. No! I'm supposed to retake the class. Flip in the corner. Guess I'm gonna be with Mr. Holmes.
Hey, Mr. Holmes is pretty darn cool. Alright, I think this one needs batteries. Yes. Alright. I need one. So that's 5. That one needs batteries. Do I have batteries? Alright. Well, we'll do this. Raise your hands again if you need one. You do have to share.
It's all you. What is that?
This is scientific, but
Oh,
Yes. No one was
sometimes I don't flip it up.
I've seen you.
I love her attitude about that. Yes. Alright. You don't have a graphing calculator? Yeah, that's not good. You use your share. Will you?
You're right, you're not sharing it. You're logging it.
She did want to college.
Pick a number 1 through 10.
I like the kids' calculators.
5. She was closer. Will you share or you share? However it's easiest.
Oh, that's great.
All right. Let's add some numbers together. 4 plus 3 plus 10 plus 17 plus 6 plus 9 plus 14 plus 5 plus 3 plus 7 plus 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1. No! All right. Hopefully you got 95 pieces of data. Did we get?
Do you have one more calculator? I thought mine graphed, but I guess not.
These don't have batteries, and I don't think I have batteries. I'll look in a minute.
Okay.
Right now we're just adding.
Okay.
Did anybody else add and get 95? Okay, good. So, what's in the middle of 95?
47.5.
47.5. So, which piece of data am I looking for? 47 or 48? It's an odd number, so there's an actual center. Is it 47 or 48? 48. Because 48, has 47 pieces of data below it. I don't know why I started to write 14. And then if we were to count 49 through 95 is also 47 pieces of data. 48's the center. So 4, 7, 17, 34, 40. So the 47th piece of data is in that stack of dots. On the x-axis, what would you say that is? It's not 5, 6. So our center is at approximately 6. All right, with the stem plot, what do you guys say the shape is?
Unimodal.
Unimodal. What about the symmetry?
Skewed right.
How do you know it's right and not left, Shania?
Do you say this is
those. That's a lot. They have 15 now.
Quiet down. I gotta pick on Nolan, because, well, he's Nolan. He wrote skewed down, because it goes down. Cool thing about stem plots, Nolan, turn them on their side, and it's now a number line. And it is skewed to the right. We have most of the data, and then it falls off to the right. The tough part is when we have those back-to-back stem plots. If you have it going this way, your number line is backwards, and I see a lot of kids mix up the skewness on those. So it is skewed right. Outliers. Possible high. Probably this one, because it's like way off from everything else. We're going to come back to center, because most of you skipped that one. The spread is a little more obvious. What's the highest piece of data?
150.
150 minus the lowest, 34. So it's 160. Stem plots. We can see the actual pieces of data, right? So we're going to find the actual middle piece. There's 3 pieces of data here. 1, that's 3, 6, 8. 5, 2, 1, 3, 1. So that's 4, 12, 17, 23, 24, right? Double check me. That was mental. Okay. So what's the middle of 24?
12.
12. Is that the middle piece of data? No. 24 is even. Do we have an actual center?
Yes.
Not a single piece. 12 and 13, those 2 pieces of data are what we're looking for. That leaves 11 pieces below. And then 14 through 24, sorry, I ran out of my paper, is also 11 pieces of data. So we're going to look for the 12th and 13th. So 3, 4, so 12 is right here, 13 is right there. What do we do when we have 2 pieces of data in the middle? Gabe, help me out. What do we do when we have 2 middle pieces of data? It would be the middle of them. So we're going to add them together, divide by 2. We're going to find their average. So 65 plus 72, that's what, 137 divided by 2 would be 68.5. Any lingering questions?
When it's an outlier, do you just like if it's lower, like if they're already using on the bottom there and it was low, would you say possibly low? So you don't like actually state the outlier, you just.
Not yet.
Okay.
Next week, end of next week, I'll teach you the actual formula to verify them, and then we'll say for sure. Any other questions? All right, so histograms. We're going to make those today. Who wants to read for me? Nolan does? Oh, thanks, Nolan. Twice in one day I picked on you.
Histograms and the difference between bar graphs. You have probably heard that the distribution of scores on IQ tests follows a bell-shaped pattern. Let's look at the same actual IQ scores. The The table below shows the IQ scores of 60 fifth grade students chosen at random from one school.
Thank you, sir. All right, so before we get into making the histogram, what is the difference between a histogram and a bar graph? Jillian?
The histogram has bars that touch versus a bar graph they don't touch.
Thank you. So histogram, bars touch. Bar graphs, they don't touch. And there is one other difference that I've alluded to. I don't think I've said it for sure, but did anybody pick up on the one other difference? Shania?
One uses more numbers.
I'm sorry, say that again.
One uses numbers instead of like categorical.
So, thank you. So histograms use quantitative data. Bar graphs are categorical data. Quantitative. I think I spelled that right. You would think I'd know that one for sure because I've been teaching this so long, but bar graphs, categorical. So I did give you a little hint. When you make a histogram, you need to divide the range of scores into equal intervals. And then I gave an example like 105 to 114. I'm not saying that's an interval we're actually going to use, but it is one that we could use if we wanted to. So here's our table. We're going to find the highest and the lowest. Sorry, I'm just debating in my head. My original plan was to make you do it by hand and then teach you on the calculator. I'm going to do it that way, just in case somebody still doesn't have a calculator at home. All right, so we're going to make it really quick by hand, then I'll show you how to do it on the calculator. So, scanning through that table, what's our highest and what's our lowest IQ?
Our highest is 145, our lowest is 81.
So you said the max is 145 and the lowest is, 81. Somebody want to double check? We're going to double check each other a lot in here, especially when we're scanning data. Anybody agree, disagree?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so 81 to 145. So when I make my histogram, do you guys want to do intervals of 5 or 10? 10. It's less bars, right? So we're going to go with 10s. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to drop down, even though our minimum is 81, I'm going to start my first bar at 80. 80 through 89 is 10, even though our brains go, oh, that's 9. If we actually count, there's 10 in there, okay? So then we're going to do 90 to 99, 100 to 109, 110 to 119, 120 to 129, 130 to 139, and 140 to 149. Now comes the fun part. We get to figure out how many IQs are in each of those ranges. So, I personally am going to use tally marks. That does not mean it's the only way to be done. It's just my brain works better that way because then I can just go straight through the list and not have to jump around. So I'm going to go across the rows. So 145, 139, 126, 122, 125, 130. 96, 110, 118, 118, 101, 142, 134, 124, 112, 109, 134, and 113. 81, 113, 123, 94, 100, and 136. Do you guys want me to keep reading them out loud, or you want to do it on your own from here? Keep reading them out loud. Oh, gosh. Okay, 109, 131, 117, 110, 127, and 124. 106, 124, 115, 133, 116, and 102. 127, 117, 109, 137, 117, and 90. 103, 114, 139, 101. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I figured you guys were making the... Oh man, where did I stop? 139?
Yeah.
You sure I didn't do 101?
I don't know.
Okay. 101, 122, 105. I may be off by one. 97, 89, 102, 108, 110, and 128.
You could always just restart to make sure.
No.
No, just
114, 112, 114, 102, 82, and then 101. And Jenica was brilliant. She goes, count your tally marks, because there's...
No, I did not say that. Count the boxes. If there's so many across and so many down. then you
Right,
know.
there's 60. So if I count my tally marks,
Yeah.
that's 3, 7, 22,
5, 8.
37, 39, 41, 45. I am off by one. I have 61.
Which one are you off by?
I don't know. We're just going to go with it. All right. So we're going to do our best to make this by hand. Again, may not be perfect because it is by hand. I am lucky because I got a ruler. So I'm going to make, just like if we were to graph in the first quadrant, if we were doing a line or something. So I'm going to have my Y, and then I'm going to have my X. What do I need to make sure I do so I don't mislead people with my
Start
graph?
at 0.
Start at 0. What else should I try to do with my bars? Make them the same width. But may not be perfect because this is by hand. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, counting to myself. You guys will get used to it. If you haven't had me before, I do a lot of out loud thinking.
Wait, how many do you know?
Around 15, if I did my thoughts correct. Because this first little space between the origin and the hash mark is 0 to 9. Then I have 10 to 19.
You said we need 15?
I think so. 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49. This is 80 to 89. Now kids every year get mad at me because they're like, you just made me make a lot of blank space. We don't want to mislead people, so yes, sometimes it seems annoying and tedious, but we do have to start at 0. But notice I only put the first view, and then I skipped where I'm actually going to have data. So in some sense, I don't have to label everything down there. And of course my tally marks and my bars are going to run into each other. When we make histograms, our Y is the frequency. So I forgot to label down here, the X is the IQ. Our Y is the frequency, so how many IQs fall in that range? I have a 17. That's my highest. So if we go by 2s to 20 on the Y, 20, so halfway would be 10. And then 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, so 4 in between. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14. My spacing got off, sorry. And again, notice I don't label everything on the Y. Made sure I started at 0. And I made the first hash mark have a label, so I know the scale starts at 2. So each hash mark is going by 2s. Then I just did 10 and 20. Any questions before I start drawing bars? Alright, let's see. I think I'll use pink, so hopefully it stands out when I draw over those. So from 80 to 89 was 3. So that'd be halfway between 2 and 4. So I'm going to do my best. Looks like there. Then 90 to 91 was 4. I said 91. I don't know why. It's 90 to 99. 100 to 109 has 15. So that'd be right there. One 10 to 119, I have 17. One 20 to 129. I'm gonna go with 10. That's where I'm gonna cut off. I have 11 in there, but I can't really tell if I have 11 or if I just mismarked. 130 to 139 has 9. And then 140 to 149 has 2. And I apologize that my list and tallies ran into my bars. That was bad planning on my part. Questions? Are we ready to see the calculator? Alright, if you're sharing, I will write the steps down so that if you go home, I'm also recording this so that if you forget, you can look on Canvas over the weekend while you're doing homework. Start that with brightness a little. Oop, a bit too much. There we go. Alright, so to make any sort of graphical display with a list of data, we have to put the data into the calculator first. So to make a list, we're going to hit stat, which is kind of right next to the arrows. Just says stat in the middle, and I have horrible glare on there. Let's see, does that help? Did we all get to this menu? Okay, so we're gonna choose to edit. So edit is highlighted at the top, and the first option under that list, edit, is highlighted. So all we have to do is hit enter. And it should take you to this screen. I have data in some of my lists. Some of you, if you're borrowing mine, probably have data in there from kids from last year. If you checked one out, you might have stuff in there. So we're going to talk about how to clear a list. You do not hit the delete button. That will delete the list, and we don't want to do that. So notice how I use the arrows to highlight L1. That stands for list 1. Once I have that highlighted, I use the clear button. And then I press enter. And it empties the list. If I hit delete, the whole list 1 actually gets taken out of the screen. So then I would go up to list 2. I highlighted list 2, clear, enter. We good there? Now, we want to put our list in list 1. It does not matter when you're entering the data if you go across the rows or you go down the columns, as long as you get all 60 pieces in there. So now you're just going to type data into your list. So 145, you have to hit enter after each piece of data. Then it's 139, enter. I am not going to stand here and read all these numbers to you. I already did it once. If you have questions, let me know. I will try to come around and answer them. Yes. All 60 numbers go into list 1.
What do you guys do? I'm gonna figure out which one you missed.
Which one I counted twice. Oops. 90, not 30. watching a random damage. Okay. Yes. Does anybody have any questions about the calculators?
I just wrote the steps down.
You want one list. One long list.
Just clear it.
All right.
Yeah.
Just in case you need to clear a list, there's the steps. To make a list, you hit Stat, Edit, and then you type in the data. You have to hit Enter in between each piece of data. Type in data. Enter between. That's my abbreviation for between. Everybody have the data in there before we get to the graph part. Alrighty. One cool thing, well, I think it's cool. You guys will probably think I'm weird. We know there's 60 pieces of data, right? The calculator actually counts the data for you. So notice after I put in my last piece of data, I hit enter and it took me down to a blank cell. If I look down here, it says list 1, it would be my 61st entry. So I know I got all 60 pieces of data. If I highlight the last piece of data, it tells me it's list 160. So it's the 60th piece of information I entered. If you are off, you have more, you have less, don't stress about it right now. I want to make sure we all can do a histogram with the calculator, and having a few extra pieces or a few less is not going to be a horrible thing right now. All right, everybody good on their list? What we're going to do now, I want you to hit second mode. That'll quit us out of the list and take us back to the home screen. What? Well, it's not gone. It's still there. We're just in a different window. All right, then we're going to hit second y equals. And it brings you to a stat plot menu. You may have some turned on. There are 3 plots available. I have all 3 on right now. If you have any of them on, or multiple ones on, I want you to highlight 4, plots off. We want to turn everything off. So once that's highlighted, hit enter. It'll put it back in the home screen, hit enter again, and it'll tell you that it's done. Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to go back to that same place. So second y equals. We're going to go into plot 1. So the 1 is highlighted, so I'm going to hit enter. If you have a newer calculator, it will match what I have up here. If you have an older one, it looks slightly different, but it should have the same general things: on, off, type, X list, frequency, all of that. Everybody good? First thing we want to do is turn it on. So right now it's blinking on, and I'm going to hit enter. Then we're going to tell it what type of stat plot to give us. So I'm going to hit the down arrows so that it takes me to the different types. We want the histogram, which is on mine the third. On the older ones, is it still the third one? So we want it blinking on there. We're going to hit enter. Then it's going to ask us for our X list, where our data is. It should default to list 1. Does anybody have something different than list 1 for their list? You do? Okay, so if you have something different, while it's blinking on there, what you want to do is, let's see, I'm going to zoom out a little. We're going to hit second 1, and that's going to put L1 in there for us. If we had it in list 2, if we hit second 2, that's going to put list 2 in there. And then you can see list 1, list 2, list 3, 4, 5, 6. So whatever list you put your data in, you can make it choose that list. Leave the frequency at 1, although if yours doesn't say 1, have it say 1. So just type in 1 if it doesn't say it. I'm special because I get to choose my color. I can make it different colors. Let's go with magenta. Everybody good? All right. Then I want you to hit second quit. So second mode, sorry. One thing I forgot to have you check first. Just hit the Y equals for me. It has to be empty. If it has equations in there, the calculator is going to get mad and it won't make the histogram for us. So if, let's say you had an equation in there, like 2x plus 3, just highlight the equation, clear, gets rid of it. So if you have any equations in there, get rid of them. We good on that part? Okay, let's go back to the home screen. So second quit. And then we're going to hit graph, which is top right. Did anybody get a histogram? Okay. So, you can mess with the windows. Well, you got a cool one. So, depending on whoever did what last in the calculator, your window may be totally different than mine. Like Jillian got a bunch of lines. Okay? I didn't get anything. So we have to make our window give us the histogram. Yes? Okay, I'll be right there.
I got an error on mine.
Okay. Well, actually, let's raise your hand if you have an error for me. That way I can I don't know what the error was, but I fixed it. Do you have an error?
So whatever the previous stuff was.
No, mine's up here.
Oh yeah, see you have all 3 plots. See how they're all highlighted? I don't know what happened.
Your only class A.
There we go. all the regular things that cause errors.
Bars connected.
Oh. You have frequencies.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
Still doesn't like me. But
Have you had Caribbean points?
Bro, so they said me.
yes.
Yeah, the bomba tacos.
It's the next one.
I still haven't been given
That's
a
done though.
yet. I'm so scared. I can go like lost so technically she couldn't like eat on it, but like it's not necessarily it's like extra really.
This little didn't even answer my question.
You said something about tacos.
Yeah, have you tried Caribbean points tacos? They're amazing. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10.
I'm like zooming out, but I don't know if I should like zoom in. So.
I have my balls wrapped
You
around
got it.
I just don't know what
Yeah.
That's cool.
Something like that.
Let's get it.
I got it to work, but it is. I want to mess with yours a little more. All right. But
We're gonna air feed. Feed.
Oh, that was
Is it our fault?
I don't know.
Yeah. She didn't get anything, so I feel kind of special, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we make coats now. You should be in our video.
Yes.
It's gonna be on TikTok. And on
all right,
second in graph or just
just grab.
we're not
All right, quiet back down, please. I know. I got 9. We haven't watched the announcement.
Oh, okay.
All right, so there's a couple calculators I'm still trying to fix the errors on. I'm not ignoring you guys, okay? They just weren't the traditional errors I'm used to. Once you hit graph, if you have a histogram, that's awesome. If you don't, like me, we need to fix our window. So up here in the center, it says zoom. If you have an older one, it doesn't go all the way through 9, just scroll down, because number 9 is what we want. Zoom stat. We want it to make a window to fit our statistics. So once you have the 9 highlighted, hit enter, and it should create your histogram for you. It is created. Now, some other cool things about this, if you hit trace up here, it'll tell you what the range is for each bar. So this bar goes from 81 to pretty much 90. It says less than 90.1. And it tells you there are 4 pieces of data in that bar. If I hit the right arrow, it'll tell me that goes pretty much 90 to 99. And there are 3 pieces of data in there. And you can do it for each one because you guys are going to love this part. Anytime you make a graph in your calculator, you must make a sketch on your paper. Because if it's in your homework and I ask you to make a graph of something, if you don't give me a sketch, how do I know who did it? You can use the calculator on the test to make a graph, but then you got to sketch it on there. So you just got to get in the habit of anytime you use the calculator to make a graph, you give me a sketch. We're not going to sketch this one because, well, we have it pretty much right there. They have one more bar than us. I don't know where they got the extra bar. Yes.
in like 5 intervals, so it goes from like 85 or 80 to 85.
Yes, so you can change the intervals. If you go to window I could change it so that it starts at 80, stops at 149, and goes by tens. And then if I hit graph, it should match mine that I drew. I made it have the same intervals as what I did by hand.
Do enter the intervals into like the x.
Yes. So listen up really quick, please. If you hit window, you can change the intervals. So if you change the x min to 80, the x max to 149, and tell it to go by tens, that's what we did by hand. Don't mess with the y. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could. That's just the scale on the y-axis, so how many are in each bar. The biggest thing, don't ever change x res or the delta x or anything below that, because that'll really mess up your calculator. Yes?
Okay, so we select Zoom.
Zoom number 9, Zoom stats. Yeah.